Before we start, let's take a look at the materials that we need. The first thing first is the pen, right? The straight pen holder. That's it. This is this one. Straight pen holder and the nib. If you don't have this one, I also recommend you to try this, the parallel pen. You may heard that before. This is the parallel pen, and I'm using 2.4 millimeters and 3.8 millimeter, the size in parallel pen. Personally, I don't use a cut trick. You know, this one, it worked like a fountain pen. It contains a cut trick inside like this, but I don't really use the cut trick. I use it as a dip pen. So this is my little technique for this parallel pen. And recently I found a very interesting ink from Platinum. Platinum pigment ink. I don't know if you can see it. Pigment ink. It's not fountain pen ink. It's the pigment ink. And I found the consistency of this one is so perfect for calligraphy. So I really want to recommend that to you. You see the pigment ink? Let me type down in the chat. Pigment ink by Platinum. I just found this on in a store locally, and I really love this one. And I love this blue as well. The blue ink is so beautiful, and I'm going to use that to demonstrate for you today with the parallel pen. The parallel pen. I'm going to use the big size, 3.8 millimeters. Because I want to write big and it's easier to explain the detail for you, but you don't have to practice that big. You can use a little bit smaller, but no smaller than 3. I don't recommend smaller than 3 at the beginning because when you practice small, it's really difficult to see your problem, and that is not great for practicing. And I highly recommend you practice with a big nib first, but not too big. Too big is very struggling. But too small, it's super difficult to see the detail. So don't use too small pen, either don't use too big pens. Something between 3 to 4 is very ideal for beginners. I really highly recommend that. And 2.4 here, the parallel pen 2.4 here, it's also very handy, but in fact, I barely use this size. I usually use 3.8 or a little bit bigger 6 millimeter for teaching. For my old way, I'm using rather big nib. And for paper, I don't use any fancy paper at all. I use photocopy paper. Photocopy paper. Why? The reason here is that at the beginning that we have the hesitation, or we kind of scare ruining or making bad calligraphy. So using good paper, I have a lot of good paper as well, the handmade paper or the fine art paper, but it's kind of waste if we are a beginner and we choose the expensive material from the beginning, because we create like bad form and wrong proportion or ink smears and anyway. So don't use kind of expensive paper at first, but for me, it's a double-A photocopy paper work fine, or printing paper work perfectly. When I started doing calligraphy in 2011, I worked with photocopy all the time, and it worked fine even in 5 years. I practiced them in 5 years, to 2011 to 2016, I think. So that when the first time I came to the conference, calligraphy conference in Asheville, it's the first time ever I changed to fine art paper. It's really blown my mind for sure, but before that, I think photocopy is great enough for practicing daily handwriting. And one little more thing that I think you should have is in any class, not just Italic, I always recommend people to have a little notebook to draw the letter form. So this is, let me see, this is examples. I will show you on the camera later, but these examples of the calligraphy. And let me turn off these. I want to show this, it's just for fun, but maybe not. This is my whole room, it's kind of messy. So this is my notebooks. And what I do it here is that I'm taking notes and do the sketch with italic calligraphy. So it's not just italic in my notebook, but also in other things like black letters or Roman letters and flourishing and so many other things. So it's my teaching diary or my studying diary, something like that. And I did the sketch with the broad edge nib. I have a broad edge nib and watercolor. So this is very handy and it's very useful for you to study the form. And writing and drawing or sketching at the same time is a great way to help you to develop a habit to make lettering every day. And it's getting the memory in your mind that we have to do this, we have to do that. And also drawing the letter in your notebook is another way to learn it, that you learn the contour, you know, the structure, proportion, spacing, and so much other thing. And of course, it's my italic handwriting, the italic cursive in here. So that is what I'm gonna teach you this, the italic handwriting. And why italic handwriting? We have the cursive, when you heard about the cursive, usually we think about business cursive, right? The cursive taught in school in America system, the cursive with a very rowdy and very wide spacing letter. But we don't usually heard about italic cursive. My grandfather and my grandfather handwriting is influenced by French and English handwriting style a lot. And so they use a lot of French cursive and italic cursive. In fact, when I was in college and earlier, my handwriting is very different. It's very childish and very round, just like the cursive that taught in American system. And then from when I got in college and I saw my great grandfather and grandfather notebooks, and I found that it's very interesting to see the classical, I mean, I call it vintage, you know, the vintage feeling for the handwriting is why it's so beautiful and why it's so narrow and why it's so space saving, but still so beautiful. And I found about the italic cursive. And for italic, it's very, very practical. You can write it every day. It saves a lot of spacing in the notebook because it doesn't take too much white space in general. And it's beautiful too. It's very easy to read. It's great to write every day. And it doesn't require any special pens. You can write with any pen you have, a ballpoint pen, fountain pen, monoline fountain pen, or italic nib, fountain pen, stop nib fountain pens, or any pen that you have. And you still see the italic form. Every year I write about 2 or 3 notebooks. So this is my last year, no, 2020 notebook. This is my 2020 notebook. I have earlier notebook from, this is 2016 notebook. And I cover that with washi paper. So this is also other different things, my teaching diaries and my study, and it's also being written in italic cursive. I don't know if you can see it. So this is my daily handwriting. So daily handwriting is definitely different from calligraphy. Calligraphy is formal with a lot of care and slow speed, but handwriting is more practical purpose. We have to perform the letter quickly, but still beautiful enough for reading. Okay, so again, very handy to have notebook with you to practice and also for taking notes by italic cursive. Okay. All right, let me switch a camera to this phone. So I'm using the phone for recording and teaching you. Sharing. Okay, just a few seconds for connecting. All right, hopefully it works. Okay. Landscape. Is that clear enough for you? I just updated technology here. So it's really clear and clean, and I can zoom in the detail and zoom out like this. It's much easier. Okay, so this is the papers. I already draw the guideline for my 3.8 millimeter pen. It's just helped me to save time for teaching. But to draw the guideline, I will show you how to draw the guideline here. So I'm using 3.8 millimeter here. So the first step is that we have to find the X height of italic. First thing is find the X height, or finding the proportion of italic. In italic, we use 5 pen width. 5 pen width for the X height. 5 pen width for the X height. And it's very easy to find this proportion for not just X height, also for ascender and also for descender. So this is 5, 5, 5. So this is something like that. 5, 5, 5, 5 pen width. So I do this pen width, and pen width here. So we call this is the X height. And this is ascender. And this is descender. Okay. Now the first thing is a proportion. Okay. And the second thing is that we have to find the slant angle. Slant angle of italic is around 5 to 10 degree vertically. Vertical. That's it. So how to find it? So this is, for example, this is the X high, and this is vertical line, which is 90 degree from the top, right? We have to find this angle is around 5 to 10 degree. So this angle here. The easiest way is that we use the ruler angle, but sometimes we don't have that ruler angle with you. So I show you a little technique to find angle like this, or maybe in the future we have to try to find the slant angle in like a round hand or Spencerian or other style, but we don't have the ruler angle. So what I do here, first thing is I draw a square that equal to the X height, 5 by 5 pen width, something like that. So in the middle of this one, this angle will be 45, right? Divided the square by half. And we have this is 45 degree. And of course, this is 90 degree, and this is 0 degree. Now we divide this by 3. So each of them will be 30 degree. No, sorry. 45 divided by 3, this is 15 degree, and this other 15 degree, right? This is 15, and this is another 15, 15. So total will be 45. Each of them will be 15 degree here. 15 and 15 degree. So if we divide it by 3 another time, for example, this one we have 5, 5, and 5 degree, right? Divided by 3. So each of this will be 5 degree. And this another 5, and this another 5. So from here, we already have the slant angle of italic, 5 to 10, something in between these slant angle here, right? For me, I like to use, well, it's just me. You don't have to be like me, but I like to use 7.5 degree. It's just my preference. You don't have to be exactly 7.5. Use 5 degrees is okay, but 10 degrees okay. Here in my guideline, in this pre-drawing guideline, I'm using 7.5 degree. It's just my favorite. So you don't have to be exactly like what I do here. It's just my favorite. You can do 5 or 10 degree in between. So the same thing. For example, you have to find the slant angle of Spencerian at 55 degree. So what we do here, we divide it by 3 here to here, right? So each of them will be 5. So this is 50 and this is 55 degree. This line, this from here to here is 55 degree. So this is a slant angle of Spencerian. This is slant angle of Italic. Okay. All right, so we have the proportion numbers already here. What I do is now I make a little calculations. This is 5 pen width XI, and what I'm using here is 3.8 millimeters. Right. Yes, somebody asked me a question. Okay, Brenda? Is everyone mute? I'm hearing some background noise. I think it's everybody mute. Yeah. If you haven't mute your micros, please do that. Or maybe the background in my neighbor. They are watching some kind of soccer match. You know, Vietnamese people love football, so they are watching the TV and make some noise. Anyway. All right. So I'm using 3.8 millimeters. So I just multiple 5 times. So this is 3.8 multiple 5 times. Would be 15, 19 millimeter. Is that correct? 40? Yes. 19 millimeters. So the same thing, right? On the top ascender is 19 and the descender would be 19 that I'm using for this guideline right here. This is 19, 19, 19. All of them is 19 millimeters. Yeah, I just doing like that. I do like drawing a grid, 19 each, and then 7.5 slant angle degree, 7.5 degree slant angle. And I'm using this for the guideline. And to save time, I use the pencil to make a little bit thicker mark than usual. Then I put a white paper on the top, something like this, and I can still see the line under. Well, maybe it doesn't show on the screen, but I can see it from here, so it's okay for me. Right? Sometimes I can do this technique to make it a little bit thicker, is that I use a ballpoint pen or fountain pen. I make it a little bit thicker, like this. Yeah. Drawing overlap it. And put some pressures on the paper so that it show better through the white paper on the top. So I'm doing here with gel pen. Make it a little bit thicker. We have proportion and we have the slant angle. Now we get ready to start writing italic, lowercase, using the broad edge pen. I'm using the parallel pen. It's more convenient for me to teach. While talking, I don't have to care too much about dipping. But for you, you can practice with any pen that you have. If you're not sure about the materials, I really recommend going to my website to check the material list on the web again. I'm ready to practice with this guideline. Oh, perfect. I can see it much better. Again, here's the ink that I'm using, the pigment ink, platinum pigment ink. I don't use fountain pen ink because fountain pen ink is too watery and it doesn't hold well on the nib. This pigment ink is convenient and it comes with different, I think it comes with different color here as well. This is a brune sepia. This is blue and also come with black, carbon ink black. This is a pretty great ink to use. Other inks that I use, this is out of the, this is a little bit advanced. This is the ink that I use, the Fox and Quill ink. The, what we call is also the pigment formula. And it comes with different color as well, not just red. We have a little black dress like this. And this is what I'm using. Oh, Midori is so many colors. And peacocks and iron gall. But these ink may be a little bit acidic because of it made from iron gall formula. So it's quite acidic and it makes very beautiful hairline, but it can rub your nail very fast by the chemical that included in the ink. So I don't really recommend this if you use soft metal nib. It could eat up your nib very fast like this. So you see that the nib is getting darker because of the ink. That is the reason why I don't really recommend this using this much. If you have soft metal nib. But you have other material nibs that you can definitely try, like steel nib or better materials like metal nib, you can try adding as well. And for advanced calligraphy technique, I mix my own ink by, for example, I mix my own ink from others materials, something like that. Let me show you. Wash, maybe you have never heard of this. Wash, design color wash that you can use this to mix the ink and write with the broad edge pen. It worked well with the pointed pen as well, not just broad edge. Okay. Another ink that I can use for calligraphy is the ink stick. Sumi ink stick, like this. It's Japanese Sumi ink stick from Bokuundo. This you have to grind that on the stone and use that just like ink. Okay. That's some introduction. I'll change the camera setting very quick to make it less gently. Just 1 second, please. One second. Okay. Again. Screen. What's going on? Oh, here we go. There you go. That's better. That's good. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's get started with the lesson today with Italic. All right, are you ready? We have the guideline, we have the ink, and we have the pen. Now we ready to start with what we call is the pen angle. We have slant angle, and now we have a pen angle. Our first thing is that when you dip it to the pen to the ink, try to make it fully containing the nib, something like that. I use that a dip pen. I don't use that a fountain pen with a cut trick. I use a dip pen, and sometimes if the nib is getting dirty by the ink or the dust, I just use this. Swipe it on the tissue or towel, paper towels like this, and dip that again. Now let's talk about the pen angle. What pen angle we use for fountain pen? In broad edge calligraphy, we use different pen angle for different calligraphy style. For example, Roman letter, we use 45-degree and we use 30-degree pen angle. But Italic, we use 45 to 40 to 45-degree pen angle. Rustic, we use 80 to 85-degree. The foundational hand, we use 20 to 30-degree. So when you change the degree of the pen, the pen angle, it changed the letter itself by the thickness changing, the contrast changing, and we had to interact with the proportion differently. So that's why pen angle is very important for calligraphy. Peter Thornton told me when I joined his class a few years ago that there are only two problems in calligraphy. First is letter form. So number one is letter form. And the second will be the pen angle. So when you change the pen angle, it also related to changing the letter form itself. So that's why being consistent with the pen angle is super, super important for doing calligraphy in general. But in advance, when you get more familiar, it's like get more memories in your hand, your mind, then pen angle is not the most important anymore. Then with pen manipulation, between changing the angle of the pen frequently to create the letter is a more advanced technique. But right now we're just focusing on the letter form, and we have to be very consistent with the pen angle, okay? Let me explain a little bit about pen angle. Pen angle is the angle made by the nib and the horizontal line. For example, this is the horizontal line. And you keep the pen kind of parallel to horizontal line. And this is 0-degree pen angle. And when you keep that 0-degree pen angle and you press it down, using your whole arm to make a downstroke like that, we have a rectangle shape, right? A very beautiful rectangle shape. And this is 0-degree pen angle. I make a mark here. And this is the full width, full nib width. Right? Now the same thing, but in different angle, we use 0-degree pen angle. This is 0-degree pen angle. And I make it down, 90-degree center, sorry, 90-degree pen angle. And I make a downstroke. This is we call a hairline. Right? So with the full nib width, and this is the hairline. Okay. And then we use 45-degree in between to make that. We draw this is square, and then this is 45-degree right in the middle, right? Let me zoom in a little bit more. That maybe doesn't show very well, but this is 45-degree pen angle. We keep that angle with the nib here. Can you see that? A 45-degree pen angle. And we make a pressing down stroke. This is 45-degree. I'm using the pink color. 45-degree. Now we do the same thing, but horizontally, and making a cross to the line. For example, this is 0-degree pen angle. We see this, and 0-degree going horizontally, we have the hairline, right? And 90-degree here, but we're going horizontal way, we have the full width, isn't it? Now we have seen the relationship between downstroke and horizontal stroke here. And the same thing with 45-degree and making a cross. Oop, it's a little bit too much ink. Going across, we have this. 0, 90-degree, and 45-degree. That's the angles of the pen angle change. In calligraphy in general, in any calligraphy style, is that we find the harmonious relationship between downstroke and horizontal stroke. That is very important. And in italic, we're gonna use this angle for italic. 45-degree here, 45-degree here, this is italic. Okay. Other style, for example, like Roman letters, we use this one. We use maybe here 30-degree pen angle down, and 30-degree pen angle here across. You see now the horizontal line is thinner than the downstroke if we use 30-degree pen angle. Is that? Can you see that? The 45-degree pen angle, downstroke and horizontal line is equal by width, by thickness. Okay. This is equal by horizontal and downstroke is equal. This is horizontal stroke is smaller than the downstroke. All right. This is for, we use this one, this relationship for Roman and foundation hand. Rotational hand. For some special style, for example, black letter or Gothic, we use two different things. We use this, we call it downstroke at 35-degree. Downstroke is 35-degree. And we are using another one we call a diamond on the top, diamond on the bottom at 45-degree pen angle. This one. You see the noise? This is black letter. So here, by changing the pen angle, we have so much different by relationship with downstroke and horizontal stroke. Then we have to be very consistent with this, the pen angle that we have to use to write any calligraphy style. And for italic, again, I want to mention that we use 45-degree pen angle here. Okay. All right. So at that pen angle that we have mentioned, let's do some warm-up exercise. But now following the guideline that we do, can you see the guideline on the screen? This horizontal line and this is slant angle. Now we do some warm-up exercise. At 45-degree pen angle, we're going downstroke like this. Okay. Downstroke, and on the top, we're going horizontal to the right. And when you stop, when you find this proportion, this is 5 pen width, this is 3 pen width, 3 by 5. And then keep going with 3 by 5 at 45-degree pen angle, down. Now notice this downstroke is not straight anymore. This is following the main slant angle of the letter. I mean 5 to 10 degree. Okay, 5 to 10 degree slant from the vertical line. It's not straight anymore. Can you see it? And we do that again. Same thing at 45-degree, following the bottom. What we're doing right now is push stroke. Push stroke is naturally stroke following the gravity, like going downstroke and going to the right. We call it push stroke, right? Going down and going to the right. We call it push stroke. And try to do that separately. Down and to the right, and going down, another time it's going to the right. Do that again here. 45 degree down to the right. And from the top, going down, touching this perfectly. So you see that very beautiful angular shape at the bottom. Go to the right, then going down again. And to the right. Okay, and going down. Try to keep this, will be by 3 by 5. 3 by 5 pen width. Okay, try to be very consistent by the spacing 3 by 5. And going to the right, and then going down. Okay, so this is the first warm-up exercise. The second warm-up exercise, now we're going to do what we call is, no, this is push, no, this is a pull stroke. Sorry, my English is kind of messy. Pull stroke. Pull stroke. This is push stroke is going to the other way, going up and going to the left. For example, when we're going down, a 45 degree going down like this, right? And then keep your pen from here, push it to the right. Something like this, we call a push stroke. Going to again, going down. And do another push, like zigzag shape. Going down. See this? Going down first and then up this way, down, up and down. I'm going to do the push stroke. We call this a push stroke. Down. Now we add a little curve into the stroke. Curve. Down. Very, very natural curve. From here. And add another curve. Keep the pen at 45 degree angle. All the way at 45 degree angle. Don't change the pen angle. Only 45 degree angle. Now we see the rhythm. Up and down, up and down. 45 degree angle. And go. Okay. Now same thing, but we're going to the other way. Going down, then push to the other way. This. That. Go down. Do you guys shoot to pull and push stroke? Yes, I have the guide sheet under here. Do the pull and push stroke. Or just keep 3.5 width in mind. We have to use a guide sheet. Okay. Up, little curve at the end, curve, curve, using 45 degree pen angle. So here, 45 degrees. This is the 3 by 5. 3 by 5. 5 pen width is 3 pen width. Okay. Okay, I just want to mention that again. When you every down stroke and to the right stroke, we call a pull stroke. The pull stroke. And then from the bottom to the top or left, right to the left like this, going to this way, or going this way, push stroke, or going this way. This is the push stroke. And we're gonna meet these stroke a lot in Italic. Push stroke. The difference of Italic and other style is that Italic contain push stroke, but other style, for example, Roman or foundational hand or black letter, they only have pull stroke or going down stroke and to the right. For example, like this. This is the Roman letter. When we do the letter A, down stroke like this, right? Down stroke and left to the right, we always see pull stroke, isn't it? This is a Roman letter. Or foundational hand letter, when we do the letter N, we also always see pull stroke. Down, going down like this. Only pull stroke, only going down separately the stroke. Or other letter, for example, like black letter, also only have a pull stroke. Going down, only going down. So no contained push stroke in here. But in Italic, it's had different, Italic had a push stroke, for example, like letter N in Italic. I can do it quickly for you. Down and then push here. And then we do pull and push again. So you see that pull and push is getting together very consistently. So that is different from Italic to other style. The other thing in Italic and other style, like Roman, traditional, and black letter here, is that this is the branch system. We call this a branch. And CH, branch. So this is like the branch growing from the tree. So we call this a branch right here. But these A and N here in Roman, traditional, and black letter, we call it arc. Arc writing system, that means one stroke is an overlay on the top on the other stroke. So that is two writing system. It's quite advanced here, but a little bit of distinguish between these style and the other style. But for Italic, for the branch, because of the branch and this lead in and lead out stroke, we can easily connect this letter to the other letter and make the flow. And that's why Italic is much faster to write than other style, right? Much faster to write than other style. And you can write almost every letter by one stroke. Even you can write the whole word by one stroke. If we use a like normal pen, a fountain pen, a ballpoint pen, you can write everything in one stroke. But with the foundational hand or Roman or black letter, we have to separate the stroke by stroke, and it takes much more time to write. That's the problem with other style. Okay, but Italic it's really, really handy. And it's really, really useful for daily handwriting because of that reason. They have the connection and they have the flow by push and pull and stroke together very beautifully. Okay, now we have the guideline, we have the pen angle, we have the form, we have the pull push stroke. Now get ready for Italic calligraphy. For Italic calligraphy, my teaching method is that I usually divide the alphabet into different groups. Each group have the similarities, and we study the letter by group, so that it's much easier to understand and remember the form. So the first group is that I only use downstroke first and some branch. For example, we see this basic letter, this downstroke like this at 45-degree pen angle. We have that beautiful downstroke like that. And we can guess this is kind of letter I if we make a little dot on the top of that shape. But we don't write the letter I that way. We start with letter I, we call a hairline lead-in stroke at 45-degree. So it's kind of a little lower than the baseline on the top. This is the baseline. Lower at 45-degree going to the top and make a little curve going down again. And another lead out stroke at the bottom, like that. This is the lead in and lead out stroke. Lead in stroke and lead out stroke. Now lead in and lead out stroke, try to make them kind of parallel to each other at 40 to 45-degree. Okay, so the lead in, the lead out stroke. And then we make a little dot on the top. We don't make a full square like this. It's way too heavy. Something like that. We only make a kind of rectangle, very light like this. Very small like that, or maybe a little thick like this. Very light and elegant, something like that. And we don't make a full square diamond like this. It's too heavy on the top of the letter I. So we use this very humble and very light dot on the top. Okay. We do that again for letter I. Hairline first, like this. All right, hairline first, and make a little turn curve, going down, and curve again, going up for the hairline. Then we do a little dot on the top. That's the letter I. Try to make this is a curved stroke here, and this is a curved stroke here. The common problem with italic that a lot of people have is that we don't have the consistent angle in the whole letter. For example, sometimes we started with too sharp on the top like that. Yeah, this is a very common letter I that I saw when I teach calligraphy class, that this is not 45-degree, this is almost 60-degree at the entrance stroke. And the lead out stroke here is only 30-degree. So this is not consistent pen angle at all. So for italic, it's good one is always put at 45-degree everywhere on the whole letters like this from the top to the bottom. So don't change the pen angle like this. Or other letter like this is that even though we have this correct angle, 45 angle, but there's something happened to that is that the top have too big curve on the top, and it's quite big curve at the bottom too. So that makes the letter I so heavy on the top here. So the problem is that we have to keep this big turn on the top very light, not too much. That's only. Okay? And try to make top and the bottom the same. Whenever you upside down the letter, it's exactly the same as letter I. Right? You see this? You upside down that, it's exactly the same. That's the letter I in italic. Now we do the letter U. Remember the proportion 5/3 that I mentioned when we practice the warm-up stroke. Now we do exactly the same thing, but we grade the letter, not just a warm-up stroke anymore. What we do with that is that we start with the letter I at 45-degree, hairline first, going in, going down for this stroke, right? This is letter I already. And then we do another upstroke. Now we use a push stroke that I mentioned from here to here until this is a 3/5. This is 3 pen width and this is 5 pen width. We do an upstroke from the bottom of the letter I going up, way up to the top of this stroke to the right. Keep going 45-degree up like this. See? Now you see the change of the thickness from thick and then getting thin and getting thicker to the top. And then we 45 degree again to do another eye. This is letter U. This is the letter U. It looked like the human face, like this. See? The human face. This is kind of rectangle human face. All right, let's do that again. Remember to move the stroke way to the top, like this. And then down for another eye. There you go. Now the thinnest part of this letter U here, almost at the bottom of the stroke. Now the common problem with the letter U is that we don't have the consistent angle. So sometimes we do like this. Then you see, the letter U is way too narrow at the bottom. We have to see this wide space here, what we call a triangle space. Triangle space. Keep it open and clear and wide as much as possible. And sometimes we use a wrong angle, like a 60 degree, and this happens. It's come too skinny because of this wrong pen angle, right? It's not great at all. Or it's not 45 degree, for example, sometimes we change to this happen with a wrong pen angle. It's too skinny, it's too fat. Or the wrong pen angle. That's the problem when we use an incorrect angle. Keep in mind that at 45 degree, the U happen to be quite slim at the bottom here. Only at this part of it, the slimmest or the thinnest part of the U. Okay. Now upside down the letter U, we have another letter. Upside down the U, we have the N. 45 degree first, this median stroke, and down for, that's it. We stop here, and then we growing the branch. From here, we're doing the push stroke up, up, up here. Going to the way to the top, push stroke up to the top. Take a look at that. This is a little bit lower than the middle line of the X high. This is the X high, this is middle line, and then when you're growing the branch out, going a little bit lower than the middle line of the X high, and then you do this high, like this. Okay, and then you compared to letter U, you see a little bit different here. Is that the U also have the branch, but the meeting point is a little above the middle line. Can you see that? The meeting point is above. This meeting point is below a middle line. Okay, that's elegance of italic. Then we have this letter M, exactly like M, but twice bigger. One, and another one. M. Right? U, M, N, exactly the same width. And U, M is 3 by 5. 3 here, 3. 3 by 5, the proportion. Then we have the letter M and N, and then the letter R. We started just with this stroke first, and then we grow the branch. Just like the letter N, but we stop here. That's the R. That's only the R. Okay. Down. R. And if you keep going, then we have the letter N. But we just stop right here. Another letter, another variation of letter R is that we can make this here a stroke. But be careful with that. We don't want to make this too long. We have to change the width of the R depends on the next letter. For example, the next letter of the letter R is letter I. Then I don't want to make, sorry, it's too thick. For example, R here, and then the next letter is letter I. So I just stop it here. I don't have this. I don't have the lead-in stroke for letter I anymore, and I make a little dot right at the top. So that's enough for connection, the ligature between R and I. You don't need to make this hairline from the top of the letter I. You don't need this. Just that is enough, okay? The next letter in this group is the letter T. And I think in many books that the T, they make the T like this, at 45 degree here. It's right below, this is the top guideline, right below the guideline, 45 degree, going up, going down that way. And then they make horizontally that 45 degree stroke. And this is a very popular in the classic book that teaching Italic, but I think this is way too heavy on the top of the letter T. So we can do the T a little bit different, like this. So this is the top baseline, a little bit higher than the top baseline, about 1.5 pen width. At 45 degree, I make this downstroke first, like this. And then I change my pen to a very flat angle, only 5 degree. And I make it across like this. So you see this look much more elegant compared to this one. Right? This T is much better than this one. This is too heavy on the top. Now this one have quite light and very elegant feeling when we do the cross, the T. Then we can practice a word now. Right? For example, let's do the T, ter, T first. Right? Make it cross a 5 degree, 5 degree pen angle. And from here, I don't make the beginning stroke with the letter I. I only make this one. Right? And sometimes I can do the retouch and make the connection like this. See, here we go. This is a very beautiful connection, T and I. And then R. And then this one, make it light as well. Ter. This connection between this letter to the other letter. Okay. Tim, maybe. Make cross. Very light pen angle. T and I and N. All right, so there we go. That is samples of some letter that can be created by the basic downstroke and a cross stroke. Always remember this stroke right here. Flatten your pen angle. To 5 or 10 degree to make that cross stroke horizontally. Okay. I think that's it. Let me grab my book real quick. I come back in a few seconds. By the way, this is the book that I have it on the website. I don't have the print anymore, but it's available in ebook. So it's available on one of our websites. Go to the website and down and make a purchase, and you can have it. Okay, right. The next letter in this group is the letter L. Okay, let me show you the letter L. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, letter L has two variations. The first one is very easy. It's twice longer than the letter I, which means it contains the ascender and then the descender, something like this. L is twice longer. So this is a top baseline, bottom baseline in the top for this ascender on the top, all right? Ascender on the top and axis at the bottom. We started just like the letter I, but twice longer. Down stroke like this. That's the letter L already. Okay, very simple, just from the top to bottom. It's the simple form of the letter L. It's handy, but it's not really appealing, right? It's not really beautiful. It's too simple sometimes. And we can add a little bit flourishing into the L by adding what we call is adding a flag on the top letter L. So let me show you in some classic book, they do this flag by this way. I show you. The first stroke is they doing this downstroke. You see that it's a little curve on the left, on the right to the left like this. That's the first stroke. And the second stroke is they use the same pen angle, 45-degree pen angle. They're making the cross stroke to the right. This is a classical way. And for me, again, let's come back to this T. It has the same problem with the T here, is that it's quite heavy on the top, the flag right here. And I really don't like it. It's way too heavy italic, and it breaks the soft feeling of italic. So I don't think that we should do this way. What we do here is exactly the same to letter T, right? We do this stroke first. Number one. And then we flatten the pen angle again, which means here we use 5 to 10 degree only. I use 5 degree to make this one. So you see, it's much more elegant by soften this flag on the top by using 5 degree pen angle. 5 degree pen angle or 10 degree pen angle. 5 to 10 degree. That is by soften. So when you do italic in the future, every time you see horizontal stroke, try to use a flattened pen angle of 5 to 10 degree only. So don't use 45 degree at the horizontal stroke. It's way too heavy for italic. But downstroke is 45, it's okay. But horizontal stroke, you a flattened pen angle, 5 to 10 degree only. And I have another way to do the L, which is much more beautiful, but also it's more challenging to do for, especially for beginner, is that I do the L in one stroke. And what I do here, I do a stroke I call a swing stroke. That means you have a chain pen angle. So I start the pen at 5 degree or 10 degree here. I make a push stroke to the left. And at this point, I change my pen to 45 degree and going down. I do that in one stroke. This is much more elegant. It's much more beautiful to do this in a one flow from the left to the right, going like this. One stroke like that. But also it required a little bit effort to change the pen angle and remember the form at the same time. Let's take a look again. Okay, here, 5 degree, and then I make a swing or change the pen angle coming down and up. See, it's a very smooth curve like this on the top, on the flag, but also it's quite difficult to do that smoothly on the top. When you break this into two separate strokes, it may easily to make this stroke quite square-ish. This look quite square-ish, and it's not really beautiful at all. So that's the problem when we break this stroke by half. One stroke like this on one stroke like that. So that's why I use this swing stroke, 5 degree first, and then change the pen angle to 45. All right, so that this is 5 degree, and this is 45 degree. I make a swing here, swing stroke. Is that correct English word? Yeah, I think swing stroke is great. Or changing the pen angle. 5 to 45, I change my pen angle like this. All right, so that is a change pen angle stroke. Same thing with this letter is the letter H. Letter H is exactly like the letter L. It's now we plus one more stroke on the right. Is that we make this swing stroke first, down stroke here, and we start here. Then we add letter N right on the right. Again, 3 by 5. That's letter H. Let me do that letter L right next to this. So you can compare. This is L and this is H. This is 3 by 5. This is 5. Center 5. This is 3 bandwidth. All right. Now we upside down these letters. What happened here is that when you upside down that, we have some very interesting form. This is letter J and this is letter Y. Now the letter have the dead center. Show you. Let the J first. The J is that a 45 degree going down, and then we have this here at the bottom. We do the swing stroke as well to very flattened pen angle. It's quite difficult again here, but I would just want to show you first. The problem is that when we use 45 degree pen angle, it's going to be too heavy again, like this. Yeah? So I don't really like this combination of 45 degree only, but this is 5 degree at the bottom. So you can do the same thing. You do this stroke going down, hit a curve here, and then we flatten pen angle to make the connection. Be very careful to make the connection. Try to make it as smooth as possible. Otherwise, it's gonna be square-ish. It's not beautiful. So make a dot on the top of the letter J, something like this. All right. And letter Y is U form plus J form. U and J going down. Here I use flatten pen angle to make this stroke. All right, H upside down is Y, L upside down is J. The last letter, no, it's not the last yet. Two more letters. We have the letter K. Letter K is H. This stroke, sender. Now we do the branch growing. This is almost like a letter H, right? We make another push stroke going to the middle and stop at the middle like this, right in the middle of the letter. And then we make a going out stroke at 45 degrees, out stroke like this. That's letter K. Now 3x5 width, counting from here, 3x5 and 5 for our sender. 3x5. And the last letter in this group is the letter H, letter F. Letter F have two variations. First one is that we do this stroke of H, but a little bit lower than the bottom baseline. This is the top baseline. And then flatten your pen angle to 5 to 10 degrees to make this cross until it's equal the top stroke. 3x5. Okay. Flatten your pen angle here and here and here to 5 to 10 degrees only. Now this is not really beautiful. This is way too thick. Okay. Another variation of F is that I do the F with descender. Now, if you doesn't stop here, this is already this one. If you don't stop, keep going to the bottom and then another here to the right, to the left, like this. We have the longest letter of the alphabet, the F. Then flatten your pen angle to make the cross stroke. Like this, okay? Make a cross stroke. Touch sometime to make it better. One, go. Letter F. And sometimes F have two F right next to each other. Then I do one F is a little bit shorter than the second F. Like this. And I share the same cross stroke in the middle. So sometimes this happens. Two F right next to each other. So you can do like this. Do use the flattened pen angle here. Flattened pen angle. Remember that. So 5 to 10 degrees away. Okay. That is the first group of italic alphabet. The second group of italic is that we are working with oval form. In oval form, let me start with the letter O. This is very different to Roman letter. So let me write it first and explain to you. The first letter in oval form group is letter O, and we started from here, from right under the baseline at the top. This is the baseline. Right under the baseline at 45 degrees, I make a curve with more heavy stroke at the bottom of this left corner. And make this one. This is what we call the half moon stroke. And we make another round stroke going the other way. Connect perfectly to this stroke. And now we have two round form. And in the middle, can you see that in the middle of this one will be a perfect oval, and it's quite vertical or upright. Let me change this paper and go like this. And this is more heavy on the left. This is more heavy on the right corner. So this is a good form of letter O, something like that. This O is now symmetrical to the center, right? This means this point getting to the center is equal to this point, and hairline getting to the center equal here, this point. It's different than Roman. Roman is kind of reflect this stroke from the other stroke. This is Roman letter. Okay, Roman letter is that it divided by half here, and this stroke is symmetrical by reflecting to the center of the O. O in italic is symmetrical to a center point. This is center line. So that's two different things of italic and Roman. Long story short, what we aim for when we write italic letter is that we want to make inside oval is upright. This shape in the middle, like this. Can you see that? And outside of this, the contour outside of this O, is also a very beautiful and continuously oval as well. All right, the two oval, outside and inside. All right, so we do this. O, first stroke, 45 degree, bring down, like that. And second stroke, up, make the connection perfectly. There we go. This is a very beautiful shape of the O. Right? Can you see the inside upright oval and outside kind of slanted oval? A complex form of O in italic. Same thing with the O is the C, C, E, S. Now it's a little bit easier. C, you do this stroke first, just like the letter O, but now a little bit open to the right. And then flatten your pen angle, just like the top here. Okay. Using 5 to 10 degree only to make cross stroke. That vertical line on the O is on the slant, not 90 degree. No, it's 90 degree actually. Let me draw this with the guideline so I can show you better. This is guideline, right? This is 5 degree. And let me show you. See that? This is upright. This is very upright. It's not following the slant angle at all. What we see when we slant angle is this stroke here. Downstroke here is following slant angle, not the middle. Can you see it? Let me zoom out a little bit. That help me better. You see that? This is upright like this. This stroke here, downstroke is parallel to the main slant angle here, 5 to 10 degree. But the main oval form is upright. It's not following the slant angle. All right. It's a very difficult letter in italic. O is very difficult in any calligraphy's hand, not just in italic. It's difficult in Roman, and it's difficult in round hand, and even Spencerian and other style as well. Careful with this. OC, and for the C, I can do the same thing with the letter H, so that I write in one stroke only. So I do the swing again, flatten my pen angle, and then chain to 45. And I do this. This is the C in italic. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, great. And same thing when I do the C half first, and then I do this stroke top to bottom. Now touching right in the middle, right above the middle of the X high, then we have the letter E. Okay, try to make it E is a little bit skinny. Don't make it too big like this. Then this is kind of laughing E. It's not a good one. This is not a good E. This is better. Try to make this E curl E on the top a little bit skinny. Just enough, like this. Very elegant. Okay. And the last letter in this group is the letter S. S, I do this in 3 strokes like this. 1. Stop here. Flatten my pen angle to 5 to 10 to make this stroke. And make this stroke. This adds the total of the S will be 3. Again, 3 by 5. Just slide out the letter. So remember the 3 by 5 proportion is applied to almost any letter in the alphabet, and not just here in this group, but also other letter as well. And of course, with the letter S, again, apply in 1 stroke. So cross and swing the stroke down and change the stroke again to make this one. So this is a little bit more difficult. And the slant angle of the S is going right in the middle of this one. This is 5 to 10 degrees slant angle. Right, going right in the middle of this one. So the problem with the S is that a lot of people have the problem with the S when they didn't write in the correct angle. For example, when you write the letter S like this, problem like this, already not in your great proportion at all. It's too small on the top and it's way too big at the bottom. Or it's the same thing like this. It's not a great distribution from the top to bottom. Try to see this middle stroke of the S. When you make a good S, the middle stroke is really straight. See, this stroke right here is straight. It's not curled at all. So we have to take a look at the S in the middle. Like that's a beautiful stroke. Do that again. That is the letter S. There we go. Beautiful one. Challenging, isn't it? We're getting there. I think we try to finish the alphabet today. It may excess the time a little bit, but I want to finish that today. All right, we have 2 groups already. We're getting to group number 3 is now a combination between the top stroke, the push stroke, and the U form and the N form. First letter in this group is the letter A. Ooh, letter A is, again, in classical book, they do the A like this. I see this. So they do it like this. And then they do it with 45 degree and then coming down like that. Now you can obviously see this. It's way too heavy on the top stroke. I point that out. I point out that problem quite many times in this course, even from the beginning, that we don't use 45 degree angle we should not use 45 degree for any horizontal stroke because it's very heavy. So for me, I changed this to only 5 degree to 10 degree, something like that. Slight and much more elegant, right? And then going down here. So this part is very similar to the top of the letter L that we have done, right? The similarities. And then going up for meeting that right at that corner. Then going down just like the letter I. That's the beautiful A's. A is also 3 by 5. 3 by 5 with proportion. For the A, I do this in one stroke like this. Let me show you. Here, at 5 to 10 degree, I make a swing. Going down to 45 degree, up. And then another stroke going down, up. Now, there's a little gap here. I use a pen to retouch to fill that with ink. Now you see a very beautiful and smooth branch and back on the A. And this is look like a human face, right? Human face. In fact, letter, italic letter was invented in the Renaissance period of art, and Renaissance art take the proportion from the human body. Do you know that? And it's very popular with the Fibonacci number. Do you know the Fibonacci number? 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. The next number is equal 3 by plus 5. So, and go on and 11, and then 19, and so on. So here, 3 by 5 is the proportion of the Fibonacci, and also the proportion of the human body as well. For example, I remember that the height of the human body is equal 8 times or 11 times of the head. So I'm not really sure, but I think it's 8 times 11. I'm not sure, because my brother is an artist, so I learned something from him. But I just really like that the Renaissance art and italic letter is really related to Fibonacci numbers, and the proportion is amazing. 3 by 5 is golden ratio. It's taken from these as well. So it's very interesting. Well, even for that, 3 by 5, we know that, but we never write exactly 18. Yeah, 18, 13, sorry. 13 and 21, wrong calculation. And I realized that even though that we know the proportion, we never write precisely following the Fibonacci ratio, right? And that is the human nice, beautiful things of human handwriting, that we never write the same, even though we know the proportion. Now we have the A, and A plus the descender. Do this. A, and going down one more, we have the Q. What? A, flat J, it is the letter G. Here I change the pen angle to 5 degrees away. The letter G. Q and G. Something like that. Now I upside down these letters. I upside down the Q. We have the B. I write it right here, right next to here. Right? Upside down the Q. We have the B. Again, if we use it 45 degree, it's going to be very heavy. So I recommend you to, every time you write a horizontal stroke, is a soften, a flatten pen angle to 5 degrees only. It's much better at 5 to 10 degrees. And the same thing as G, when we upside down the G, we have another variation of the D. The retouch. Another variation with a flat. This is flat. Now the A plus L is the D. Show you A here. I do the A form first, and then the L. Sorry, it's kind of L form. It's not a really good one. Let me try A plus L. A form first, and then L form is the D. Okay, and of course we have another variation of the D because we have two variations of the L. Now with the flatten the pen angle, going down. That's the D. I really like this D. It's my favorite letter of the alphabet. Second D. Now we upside down the D. We have the very nice letter as well, the letter P. Again, here I flatten my pen angle to make this push stroke to the left. And then this form of A. Oops, run out of ink. And flatten my pen angle to make this connection. It's the P, and you can have the simplified version of the P like this. P, tap, connection for the P. So we have P and a D already. Now let's do a little practice with the word doubles. Take out the paper a little bit. Yeah. D and then O. Double. Touching here. I have some problem with spacing here, so I make this L a little bit shorter. Now here we can make a little bit decoration by flattening the pen angle and make this beautiful, beautiful flourishing stroke. By flatten your pen angle. And sometimes I do the retouch here. Get some more ink. This. There we go. Yeah. And we can add a little bit of flourishing to this side of the D as well by applying this push stroke. Also flatten your pen angle. Add it like this. So add up a little bit more characteristic into your calligraphy. A bit more interesting, adding those flourishing strokes. Well, but don't overuse flourishing. Flourishing can be a very dangerous knife. It can cut the elegance of the square. It destroy everything if you use this wrong. Be careful with that. For example, like this. Yeah, there you go. And we have one last group in italic Okay, this is the easiest group, I believe. The easiest in italic. Because it's only have the angular letters like this. V, W, X, another variation of Y, and the letter Z. V is also 3 by 5 in proportion, which means the width is pre-pen width and xi is 5. It's simply a triangle at 45 degrees. We make the triangle. One stroke, first like this, and the second stroke, just like that, at 45-degree angle. And the slant angle is going right through this triangle. So this triangle like this, yeah, see? 3 by 5. The slant angle going right in the middle of this letter. Easy, right? 45 degree. Easy, easy. Same thing with the W. With 1 triangle, 2 triangle, and 3 triangle. Now there's this main slant angle and going through here. And the X is the same. 1 stroke. And the triangle going here. X. So triangle going through right middle. This is 3. This is 5. 3 is now a little bit below. V is above. Here is here. 3 by 5. And the Z, easy one, is a cross at 45 degrees. And we make another cross. This is an exception. And I mentioned that in every horizontal stroke we use less than 45 degrees. But the Z is a special case. Horizontal stroke is the thickest of letter Z. In the middle, we use the 45 degree going this way, then it's going to be the thinnest. And then flatten your pen angle to 5 degrees again. Make a cross stroke. This is a different one. 45 degree, 45 degree, and 5 to 10 degree in the middle. So it's thinnest in the middle, but thicker on the top and the bottom. Horizontal stroke is also 3 by 5, fit inside a, does your pen angle stay 45 for all the diagonal? Yes, at the diagonal stroke, always use 45 degree pen angle. And the last letter in the alphabet is the letter Y. This is another variation that we make it just like the letter V here. So the first one, and the second one will be downstroke, and then at the bottom, change the pen angle to flatten angle. It's like that to the left. So this is another variations. It's not necessary be included in the alphabet, but I just want to show you another variations in the direction. Okay, so yep, I think that's it. That is the whole alphabet. And A, B, C, D, E, F, G, K. Yep, alphabet. For me, the most important letters in italic alphabet, I want to write that again here, is that N and U form. The first one is N and U form, that it includes almost 80% of the alphabet and the U form. The second letter is definitely the O form. But you have to see the oval inside and outside of this letter. And then the A form. No, not this good one. A form. This. And the V form, that's the representative. of the whole alphabet. It's very important. And in old form, that the secondary importance letter is the letter S that require quite a lot of work to do this swing stroke. Yeah, something like this. And for me, in A form will be the letter J, as include. Swing stroke at the end. And when you practice, try to practice these into the composition. I really don't recommend you to practice single letter by single letter. Try to practice with sentence or word or even long text and keep practicing writing. And it's come to you to form. Is there a Z variation with a descender? Actually, no. The Z in italic is only have this one, or sometimes they use a little bit more flourishing form of the Z with more curve, but the Z doesn't have descender. The Z is something like this. In italic, but it doesn't have the descender at all. All right. And of course, in pen manipulation technique with advanced italic, there's so much way to play with the form. For example, I just want to make an introduction to you. I don't want to make you feel very overwhelmed with all of that knowledge in using italic for the beginner. What about the G? Oh yes, the G have another variation. I think you may seen this before. It's borrowed from the G in foundational hand. That first we make a small O about just 2/3 of the XI only 2/3 of the XI. And then we make this. We make this tail right below this and make a cross here. This is another variation of the G. It's a little bit different from the other. It's break the flow of normal italic form because of this is a borrowed form from more foundational. Than the normal italic. It's kind of hybrid script between foundational and italic. What I mentioned before is that when we do the italic, there's always a little secret that we can make the italic better. For example, normally we write the N with very mechanical form down and branch and down again, like this, right? All the way 45-degree angle. But sometimes we can make it more active, like changing. You see that it's not a simple downstroke anymore. It now a little bit curved to the left. This is a little secret of see a little curve to the left. And very light curve, very, very light. It's almost invisible. And then we added a little bit more curve to the other stroke. See? By 2N. You can put more life into this by making this rectangle form into this slightly curve form. Yeah? Is right of wrist right here, wrist right here. So that is I'm not sure you can see it on the screen. That's better for you? No? This is put it in the rectangle. This is more with a curve. So that's a little secret, and this will take a lot of practice indeed for a long year of practicing and experiment with the form, experiment with a stroke, and so much more. And sometimes we can do the build-up stroke with italic, something like this. It's not just one stroke anymore. I can write italic in 2 stroke like this, something like this, and I can do this retouching stroke to make it texturize. And I do this, and again. So much more, so many more ways to play with just italic. And I do the retouch and do the texture letter, something like this. Okay. So this chord, I just stop at the very basic level, but also I already give you some very beautiful details in playing with the horizontal stroke, on playing with the proportion 3/5. And from there, when you practice, take a look at the exemplar and also take a look at many other calligraphers as well. Look at the master like John Stephen, Julian Water, Christopher Hannes, and Elmo, and so many others master. And I hope that after the class like this on today, you practice more and do more italic in the future. And if you post anything on Instagram, I'm really happy if you tag me on that, and let's say, okay, I'm doing italic today. And I really hope that not just italic, but also you got inspiration to learn much more about broad edge pen calligraphy and maybe the pointed pen as well. All right. So, yep, now it's almost 11 at my time. It's a little more time than I expected. I expected 1.5 hours, but now we get a 2 hour. But anyway, I'm very happy that I'll finish the alphabet from A to Z. And I see you next week with uppercase. I think uppercase is more fun to do. It's more flourishing, it's more variations, and we can play with so much more things with the letter. All right, have a great night and have a great day, everybody. I see you next week, and happy practicing. Tag me on Instagram. Bye-bye. I start recording.